Let's continue our reading. To those of you who are joining in, thank you guys very, very much. These are fascinating stories, fascinating scriptures, and I will be the very first to say that the laws, statutes, and commands are good for all times. In fact, they are not. We are a strange, arrogant people that believe that the words and the laws and the requests and the ways that our Creator has wanted to live are old. It's old-fashioned. We're told in the Bible our Creator is good today, yesterday, and forever. His ways don't change. And if that is the truth, then that means the laws, statutes, and commands are for all time. And that's why these books are very fascinating reads when we read this. Okay, we are in chapter 11. Then Adam and Kawa felt themselves burning with thirst and heat and sorrow. And before we go too further into this, please understand to this point, they've never known what thirst is. They have never known what they probably never had to go to in fact, I know they didn't have to go to the bathroom. This is a very interesting, this is going to blow your mind as we start reading through this and as you begin to do this. And if you can just try to imagine yourself being born a 30-year-old that knows how to walk, but that's about it, and then being introduced into this world and see if you could walk through this without being in trouble. This is where they're at. Verse 2. And Adam said to Kawa, "We shall not drink of this water, even if we were to die. O Eve, when this water comes into our inner parts, it will increase our punishments and that of our children that shall come after us." Both Adam and Eve then withdrew from the water and drank none of it at all, but came and entered the cave of treasures. Again, guys, this is the life and the fall of humans, right? This is our mother and fathers, Adam and Kawa, they're having problems. So then they're right here, they're refusing to drink. And this has nothing to do with Torah. This is more human assumption where Adam's like, if we drink this, it's going to be worse than this. They don't know exactly what drinking is like. Imagine trying to drink things of this nature and having to have water hydrate you. Very, very confusing. Both Adam and Eve then withdrew from the water and drank none of it at all, but came and entered the cave of treasures. But when in it, Adam could not see Eve. He only heard the noise she made. Neither could she see Adam, but heard the noise he made. What do we see in here, folks? We're seeing darkness, right? If you're looking at a timeline of the fall of Adam, we have not made it through a night yet. So everything we've heard right here is within a day from when they were booted out. Because right here, we are seeing that they just went into the cave of treasures, right? It's just some cave on the side of the thing. And it's dark. They don't know what dark is. Then Adam wept in deep affliction and smote upon his breast. And he arose and said to Eve, "Where art thou?" And she said unto him, "Lo, I am standing in this darkness." He then said to her, "Remember the bright nature in which we lived while we abode in the garden? O Eve, remember the glory that rested on us in the garden. O Eve, remember the trees that overshadowed us in the garden while we moved among them. O Eve, remember that while we were in the garden, we knew neither night nor day. Think of the tree of life, below which flowed the water, and that shed lustre over us. Remember, O Eve, the garden land and the brightness thereof. Think of that garden in which was no darkness while we dwelt therein. Whereas no sooner did we come into this cave of treasures than darkness compassed around us, until we can no longer see each other, and all the pleasure of this life has come to an end." And you may say, well, that's not a big deal. He's only in a dark room. Yep, he's in a dark room, and he has no lights to flip on. We have no candles to light. He has never seen the sun. This is the first time he's ever seen darkness. So in the garden, it was heavenly light. I guess there was no sun. I guess whatever light came. I mean, obviously there was a sun and it was in creation, but whatever they had prior to this, it wasn't like it is now. Length of Mizia, then Adam smote his breast, he and Eve, and they mourned the night until dawn drew near, and they sighed over the length of the night in Mizia. And Adam beat himself and threw himself on the ground in the cave from bitter grief and because of the darkness, and lay there as dead. But Eve heard the noise he made in falling upon the earth, and she felt about for him with her hands and found him like a corpse. Then she was afraid, speechless, and remained by him in the darkness. But the merciful Elohim, Yahuwah, looked on the death of Adam and on Eve's silence from fear of the darkness. And the word of Yahuwah came unto Adam and raised him from the dead again, and opened Eve's mouth that she might speak. Then Adam rose in the cave and said, O Elohim, wherefore has light departed from us and darkness come over us? Wherefore dost thou leave us in this long darkness? Why wilt thou plague us thus? Guys, and this is how simple it is as human beings, right? This is how simple it is and how we as human beings have things so good. We have light. We understand what light is. We are not in this state of fear like this. We should be. We should fear Elohim and everything, but we don't. We're not living like this. Verse 8, and this darkness, O Elohim, where was it ere it came upon us? It is such that we cannot see each other. For so long as we were in the garden, we neither saw nor even knew what darkness is. I was not hidden from Eve, neither was she hidden from me, until now that she cannot see me, and no darkness came upon us to separate us from each other. But she and I were both in one bright light. I saw her, and she saw me. Yet now since we came into this cave, darkness has come upon us, and parted us asunder, so that I do not see her, and she does not see me. O Yahuwah, wilt then thou plague us with this darkness? Chapter 13. Then when Elohim, who is merciful and full of pity, heard Adam's voice, he said unto him, O Adam, so long as the good angel was obedient to me, a bright light rested on him and on his hosts. But when he transgressed my commandment, I deprived him of that bright nature, and he became dark. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Lucifer. We're talking about Hasatan. Verse 4, and when he was in the heavens, in the realms of light, he knew not of darkness. But he transgressed, I made him fall from heaven upon the earth. And it was this darkness that came upon him. And on thee, O Adam, while in my garden and obedient to me, did that bright light rest also. But when I heard of thy transgression, I deprived thee of the bright light, yet of my mercy. I did not turn thee into darkness, but I made thee thy body of flesh, over which I spread this skin, in order that it may bear cold and heat. If I had let my wrath fall heavily upon thee, I should have destroyed thee, and I had turned thee into darkness. It would have been as if I killed thee. But in my mercy I have made thee as thou art. When thou didst transgress my commandment, O Adam, I drove thee from the garden, and made thee come forth into this land, and commanded thee to dwell in this cave, and darkness came upon thee, and it did upon him who transgressed my commandment. Again, I had a question in the comments. Do I think this belongs in the Torah? And when you read these extracurricular books, when you have a foundational base in the Torah, there is nothing outside of the Torah that can get you, right? There will be no questions of, is this part of the Torah? This seems to fit exactly with the Torah. In fact, it seems to be exactly, it's the same as Jasher and Jubilees. All the other books they pulled out. Imagine this book, if this book is in the Bible. And you saw this from the beginning. All the Christians saw that it was this one commandment, that we fell from grace because we violated this one commandment. We were almost destroyed because of this one commandment. But yet we live in a world and a lifestyle where we're breaking commandments all day long, and we don't have any guilt. We don't feel bad. We don't feel any of that. And so, verse 10, thus, O Adam, has this night deceived thee? It is not to last forever, but is only 12 hours. When it is over, daylight will return. Sigh not, therefore neither be moved, and say not in thy heart that this darkness is long and drags on wearily, and say not in thy heart that I plague thee with it. Strengthen thy heart and be not afraid. This darkness is not a punishment, but, O Adam, I have made the day and have placed the sun in it to give light, in order that thou and thy children should do your work. For I knew thou shouldest sin and transgress and come out into this land, yet would I not force thee, nor be heard upon thee, nor shut up, nor doom thee through thy fall, nor through thy coming out from the light into darkness, nor yet through thy coining from the garden into this land? For I made thee of the light, and I willed to bring out the children of light from thee and like unto thee. But thou didst not keep one day my commandment until I had finished the creation and blessed everything in it. Huge thing, right? If we are accountable to the same way Adam is accountable, even though we have the Messiah, Yahushua, we're still accountable. Praise Yah for his son, but that having the son does not keep us from being accountable. We are all going to be accountable to this. And he says he couldn't even keep it one day until he finished creation. Adam sinned. Verse 16, then I commanded thee concerning the tree, that thou eat not thereof. Yet I knew that Satan, who deceived himself, would also deceive thee. So I made known to thee by means of the tree, not to come near him. And I told thee not to eat of the fruit thereof, nor to taste of it, nor yet to sit under it, nor to yield to it. So this is very interesting as well, because we hear that there were other, it wasn't just this tree in the middle of nowhere with no warnings, no nothing. He said that he told him not to come near it, not to eat the fruit of it, not to taste it, not to sit under it, not to yield to it. We don't know this. We didn't know he wasn't supposed to sit under it. We didn't know any of this stuff because we don't have that in the Bible. We just know that Eve ate an apple and just is by some snake, and that's it. So now we know that Adam was not left completely helpless. All he had to do was keep the commandment. And for what we know, that commandment. I'm sure there were others, but this was the one not to mess with. Verse 18. Had I not been and spoken to thee, O Adam, concerning the tree, and had I left thee without a commandment, and thou hadst sinned, it would have been an offense on my part for not having given thee any order. Thou wouldst turn around and blame me for it. And again, this is stuff that we see in these books that we don't see anywhere else. Yah is a very logical creator. He knows that if we didn't get the command, the first thing we do is, you didn't tell us. You didn't tell us, and it would be his fault. So what did he do? He told us. And that way he doesn't want the blame for it. Verse 19, but I commanded thee and warned thee, and thou didst fall, so that my creatures cannot blame me, but the blame rests on them alone. My friends, if the blame is to be left on us alone, on the day of judgment, there's nobody else that's going to be there except our advocate, Yahushua HaMashiach. And if we aren't living a Torah life, I wouldn't expect him to be our attorney. We only have the privilege and the power of our attorney if we are living as our Creator has said to live. If we are out being a rebel and we die and we're looking for our attorney isn't going to be there. Matthew 7 says our attorney is going to say, go away. I don't know you lawless ones, right? It's all about the law. Verse 20. And O Adam, I have made the day for thee and for thy children after thee, for them to work and toil therein. And I have made the night for them to rest in it from their work, and for the beasts of the field to go forth by night and to seek their food. I know this one's going to drag on, but I mean, there's some very important qualities here that we want to see. The nighttime was made for human beings. Our Creator not only made humans perfect, the earth perfect, the world perfect, everything perfect, he created us. What happens at night? We get tired. We want to go to sleep, right? He designed us to work hard 12, 13 hours a day and then to shut down and go to sleep and recharge. He gave us the night for that. Imagine if we didn't have night. We wouldn't know when to sleep. We wouldn't know when to turn on. Our Creator's perfect in everything. Verse 20. O Adam, I have made the day for thee and for thy children after thee, for them to work and toil therein. And I have made the night for them to rest in it from their work, and from the beasts of the field to go forth by night and seek their food. Again, we're supposed to be sleeping as the beasts of the field go out there. We probably want to be hanging out in the night. But little of darkness now remains, O Adam, and daylight will soon appear. It's chapter 14. Then Adam said unto Elohim, O Yahuwah, take thou my soul, and let me not see this gloom anymore, or remove me to some place where there is no darkness. So as children, and I can tell you from my kids, they have zero patience. So I remember a time what do we call it, the land of boredom, where it was always a tragedy when the kids would come up, I'm bored. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's boredom is a state of mind. Let us put you into the land of boredom. And so they were probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old or something of the sort, and I made them sit on the floor, no toys, no nothing, as I sat there and worked on the computer. They couldn't get up, they couldn't go anywhere, and they weren't there maybe 10 minutes tops, and that was the end of the world to them, and they still, to this day, discuss the land of boredom, how terrible that was. And so we are talking about a simple night, and Adam is in the darkness. He doesn't know what 12 hours means. What does 12 hours mean? All he knows is he's sitting in this darkness and gloom, and our Creator, Yahuwah, says, I'm going to give you light in 12 hours. What is 12 hours? It could be eternity. He doesn't know. Verse 2, but Yahuwah, Elohim, the Elohim Yahuwah said to Adam, verily I say unto thee, this darkness will pass from thee every day I have determined for thee until the fulfillment of my covenant, when I will send thee and bring thee back again into the garden, into the abode of light thou longest for, wherein is no darkness. I will bring thee to it, in the kingdom of heaven. Amazing. That's good. Verse 3, and again Elohim said unto Adam, all this misery that thou hadst made to take upon thee because of thy transgression will not free thee from the hand of Satan, and will not save thee. Again, this is our Father that is helping us, and he understands the nature of Satan. And he says, even though you've been judged, right? You got kicked out of it. You're still going to fall into the hand of Satan. Now, is this just for our dad Adam, or would this mean that we must be careful ourselves, or we will fall into the hand of Satan? Because Satan knows exactly what to bait the hook with, if you know what I mean. Verse 3. But I will, when I shall come down from heaven, and shall become flesh of thy seed, and take upon me the infirmity from which thou sufferest, then the darkness that came upon thee in this cave shall come upon me in the grave, when I am in the flesh of thy seed. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, he just said he's the Messiah. And that's not what he is saying. He's saying that his seed, when I shall come down from heaven and shall become flesh of thy seed and take upon me the infirmity which thou sufferest. This is not saying Elohim is going to come down and live it like this. People need to get that our Creator doesn't need to live as a human to figure this out. He knows exactly what humans are. He created us, right? He understands what emotions are. He understands the chemistry. He understands everything. There's no need for our Creator to come live as a human and to die as a human. Because if he dies as a human, where's Yah? When Yahushua was in the grave for days, where's our Creator? Did he take a couple days off? I don't think so. Verse 5. And I, who am without years, and this is again, how old is Yah? Without years, we don't know. Shall be subject to the reckoning of years, of times, of months, and of days, and I shall be reckoned as one of the sons of men, in order to save thee. And Yahuwah ceased to commune with Adam. Okay, last one, 15. This is short. Then Adam and Eve wept and sorrowed by reason of Elohim's word to them, that they should not return to the garden until the fulfillment of the days decreed upon them, but mostly because Elohim had told them that he should suffer for their salvation. Now again, we must take this into account with everything else. First of all, this book, most everyone dismisses, right? But if you want to go under the assumption or the Trinity, that right, and say that our Creator and His Son and the Holy Spirit are all one, you could probably get that to fit within this particular part. But if you take this and you fit this, that Yahuwah became the Son and came down and all this other stuff, what about all the verses in John, 1 John, Matthew, when our Messiah clearly calls himself the Son of Elohim? He's always a son. So you must be foundationally set in the Torah before you read extracurricular stuff, right? Because this could trip people up right here. Because where it says, but mostly because Elohim had told them that he should suffer for their salvation. Does this mean that he was the guy that came down and died? No, because here's the gig. If I had to give my kid up as a sacrifice and let the world beat him up and slice him up and kill him and hang him, that would be suffering for me. I would be suffering not as much as the one who's being tortured, but your heart would break in ways that you would not know. If our Creator is without days, years, months, years, Yahushua could be 100 billion years old. We have no idea how old the Son of the Most High is. We don't know that. But the fact that he went into the human state, lived it, and was killed by his own creations, I would have to say that that is suffering. So before you go down these roads and start filling in the holes on this stuff, make sure you're foundationally set in the Torah, and the rest of it will come through it. So I'm going to do these things in 5 chapter segments, and I hope that there's a couple of you guys still with me. I hope everybody is good. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Shabbat, and I am out.